What is going on, everybody? 2020 was a pretty rough year, huh? I mean, like, wow, huh? We made it into 2021, and it's going to be a good chance to get some more content out, work on ourselves better, just use it as an opportunity to reassess your life and your content if you're me. And I've been reassessing some of my fundamental skills in Mortal Kombat, and I might have even picked up a new main. If you're looking at the title of today's video, there's your biggest hint as to who she is. We'll talk about her in a second, but before we get to that, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Uppercut Editions, who are working on building an encyclopedia for Mortal Kombat. And if you guys are as interested in Mortal Kombat lore as I am, I mean, I played this game because I'm a giant fan of the series, and I love all of the history and background lore that NetherRealm has built behind their characters. And all Uppercut Editions is trying to do is lock that down into a nice, concise compendium that you can have on your very own shelf and read, and all they want is your support to push the project. We're not asking for any of your money. They're not asking for any of your hard-earned cash, just that you take a chance and read their digital preview. The link for that will be available in the description down below. And if you like it, go ahead over to their Twitter at EncyclopediaMK, engage with them, let them know you're interested in the product, let NetherRealm and Warner Bros. Know that you're interested in the product. They want the backing of the company that has created the game to give them the okay to push this product out. And if you're interested in reading it as I am, you can go ahead and show them your support and even ask them about picking up some of this cool merch. You're gonna see me wearing it a lot in future videos because now I have a Mortal Kombat shirt. Why would I not be wearing it as a Mortal Kombat content creator? What am I, stupid? I'm gonna have this shirt on all the time. My washing machine is going to be pretty pissed off at seeing this shirt every week. Regardless, go ahead and check them out. Tell them I sent you. And let's have some fun. Let's push it on forward. We got to talk about the woman of the night. That doesn't sound right. That sounds a little offensive. I'm very excited about picking up Cassie Cage. Now, I know I'm known as a Jackie Briggs main, and I'm not dropping Jackie Briggs as my main. But my Cassie is starting to get to equal levels of strength, which I'm really liking. And it's more because, I'll tell you guys honestly, the biggest problem I was having with growing my skills as a competitive player, or at least to the level that I can get to, and improving my skills in the game, was that I felt like my fundamental neutral was very lacking. Because as fun as Jackie is, she's not a character that relies heavily on neutral. She's basically a character that breaks neutral, which is the biggest part of the frustration people have dealing with her. Her ability to get in is so easy. She can do it for free. And she basically doesn't have to work by the fundamental footsie game that most people want her to have to play. Cassie can play that fundamental footsie game, and she's probably the best character in the game that could do it outside of like Kodal and whatnot. But Cassie's ability to do it from exactly this starting range, well, like a step in closer, I'd say, it's just impeccable. I'm going to go over why today. She's got a lot of buttons, a lot of strings, a lot of mind games that you want to play around her. I'm going to try to break it down to the meat and potatoes of it today for you, and then go into the strategies I like to use. I've set up 2 custom builds for her. One we'll talk about in a second. A second one we'll talk about a second after that. That's wordplay. So let's get into it. First string that's going to be very important for you to pick up if you want to play Cassie is 111. It's that simple. The problem with 111 is that 111 is insanely punishable on its own. It's -8, but it's -8 right in front of somebody's face. And this will get punished. Basically, think of it as being -30. If you stop here, any good player is going to punish you for doing that. The reason you can get away with it is because this move is special cancelable on the last hit. You can play a mind game with constantly trying to cover it, so that the one time you don't, your opponent's waiting and you can keep yourself safe, even try to use it to get away from them if you want. But this is your big hit confirm string. For example, and this is a big tip to any of you guys who have problems with hit confirms. If you're like, man, I always just do the wrong thing and I overextend and I get punished, you want to go into the AI options and set the block mode to random combo. What this is going to do is right now I'm going to hit 111 on Jackie, and Jackie is going to randomly block or accept the string. I don't know what she's going to do. I have no way to tell until it's hitting. And I'm going to adjust what I'm going to do based on whether or not she gets hit. So I have a special move here, kneecapping. We're going to talk about it in a bit, but that's my basic combo extender. If this is hitting, I'm going to go into kneecapping. If it's getting blocked, I'm going to go into back forward forward to try to cover myself and keep myself safe. For my build, actually flying kick, let's say. So it's getting blocked, flying kick. It's hitting, kneecapping. It's getting blocked, flying kick. It's hitting, kneecapping. It's getting blocked, flying kick. I mean, change it up a bit. There we go. So you should constantly be able to adjust what you're doing based on whether or not the string is getting blocked or not. And if you can't tell, I have so much time to see whether or not it's hitting or not. I haven't failed to do it once. if you struggle to do that, I would highly recommend going into practice mode, putting on random combo. And this can be for whatever character you play. Again, it doesn't have to be for just Cassie. Practice hit confirming your strings, but 1-1-1 is going to be your best hit confirm. You have 1-2-4, which is safe. The biggest problem with 1-2-4 is that you don't really get anything off of it outside of space. You could try to jail zoning if you time it correctly. If I let this rip way too fast, it's going to go right by her, so it doesn't matter. But if you wait a second, you can try to jail them into projectiles. Oh, come on, Kev. You can see why I don't use it that much. If anything, you can get somebody off of you and try to like set up shenanigans and then go around and get back to zoning. But it's really just to create space. Against somebody like Jax, where he's very annoying, if he leaves himself punishable, and you have a giant life lead and you just want to get him off of you, you can resort to something like this. But more often than not, I don't think it's a good string to go for. There's not a lot of good versatility to it outside of pushing somebody off and keeping yourself safe. You've got back 1-3, which is a launcher string. If that hits, you can confirm that into combos as well. Keep it simple, something like this. Oh, that with okay. Well, I don't use this string a lot. It does have a crushing blow condition if the opponent is stand blocking. Yaga yaga yowskis. Look at that. That was a horrible catchphrase. I'm never gonna say that again. Let's go for something like Yazerski's next time, huh? This can confirm into combos as well, and you can get some cool stuff off of that. They have to be stand blocking, so there are ways to kind of set them up into it. You have strings that have overhead, so if you can get them to stand up and try to hit, you got to be a step closer. You can try setting people up for something like this. But again, to each his own. Can you just end this? Hold on, I'm curious. Am I working too hard and I could just down to this? Okay, not into that, obviously. Hold on. Easy crushing blows are the death of me. Yeah, not bad for what it is. I'll take it. We've got our 2-1-1-2. Oh, also back one, before I forget. Great for spacing as well. You can use it to kind of like check people and cancel into strings. And if you were successful with something like that, that's all unbreakable damage, baby. She can't do nothing about that. She can't do nothing about that. You got 2-1-1-2. I'm not a big fan of this string. It's a dial-in string, which first of all, if you guys don't know what dial-in strings are, they're strings where you have to press all the buttons for the whole string to come out. If I do 2-1, perfect. If I do 2-1-1, nothing. I have to do 2-1-1-1-2. They get the bullets to come out. So you have to fully commit. You can use it to be annoying with zoning like this, but I always feel like you have better zoning options if you want to do that than just using this string. Up close, there's a mind game around finishing the string so that it ends in high, so you get your opponent to neutral duck, and then changing to 2-1 down 2, but you hit them with an overhead to punish them for that, and that's safe. But ideally, I feel like if you're going to be ballsy enough to try to set somebody up for that, just try to catch them with kneecapping for them neutral ducking. That's more of the mind game you want to play and hope that they don't punish you for it, or hope that they're sitting there ducking under this. But I wouldn't recommend investing a lot in this string outside of being annoying with it at range. And the only benefit I see really is the fact that the bullets trail behind each other in succession, whereas this doesn't if you don't want to spend bar. But if you don't mind spending the bar, you get way more out of doing this than you do out of this. So, something to think about. Of course, I'm not going to be one to tell you what to do with your character, man. You do what you feel is good. But I personally don't think it's worth investing a lot of time into this. Also, before I forget, because I was about to not drop this information on you, back 1-3, if you go for it, is also insanely punishable. Your only two strings that you're worried about your opponent blocking are 1-1-1 if you're not going to do anything, and back 1-3 because you're -11. Both of those will get Yazerski popped for all of your health. So you want to be careful just throwing those out willy-nilly if you don't have a game plan around covering them. You got 4-2-1+3. Oh man, are you gonna love this string when you start picking up this character. It's also another crushing blow condition, because if it counter hits, check it out real quick, Yazerski! That's 27% that they're eating to the face. You can whiff the first hit and get the second one to still hit, and you'll still get 24. That's very strong on its own. And the range on this is just incredible, and the fact that it comes out at 10 frames. So that's great. Also, if the opponent is blocking it, you are like at range to do it again. Hold on. You can step in and do it again. So you'll see a lot of Cassies go for this because they're waiting, they're expecting that the opponent's going to press something and then do it again. And you can test it out on your opponent. A lot of times it'll work. At higher level, a lot of us are aware of this gimmick. It's very fake because forward 2 is a high. So if they go for this, you can just neutral duck down to punish, and you'll see a lot of people do that. You won't see them stand back up and do a full combo punish, because if they try to do that, most likely they'll still get hit with the second one. But a lot of people will just down to you out of this if you continue to go for it. If they do so, and they start neutral ducking, you can get in with your back 2 string, which is the next one I want to talk about. Back 2, 4, 3. This string is your go-to. You're going to love this string. Its ability to contend at range. Look how far it reaches. Eat my elbow. I don't know why I sound like Jeff Goldblum now. Oh, you're going to eat my elbow. That's horrible. Don't tell anybody that I tried to do that impression. I didn't even work on it. But this is great. It's also easily hit confirmable. So if we go right back to that same combo, it's getting blocked, flying kick. It's hit. Oh, come on, Kev. It's hitting, kneecapping. It's hitting, kneecapping. It's hitting, oh, it didn't come out that time? Cool. Oh, apparently it's not as easy as I'm saying it is. Great stuff. But it's another good hit confirmable string. It's got a mind game around another crushing blow condition that it also has. Because if that 3 hits, look at that damage. Hold on. So ideally you want to finish that string and have it hit people. Now you can't just hit the string. The last hit of the string has got to connect. So you're either going to do it at range and stop. What I like to do is stagger people with it so that they get annoyed and want to challenge the stagger, and then eventually I'll let it rip, and if they let go and try to challenge me, they get caught with that. You can also commit to it at range and catch people. If they think it's time to whiff punish you, they'll get caught. This move goes decently far. We've got her forward 3-4, which is also great. Nice lows, got decent range on it. And this is another string that is great for catching opponents who want a neutral duck. You can finish it in forward 3-4-3, but this last hit is it's the least real thing that Cassie has out of her strings. This is not only flawless blockable, it's completely interruptible. If I was to switch to, I don't want to do this. I gotta always remind myself as I go. If I control player 2, and I set the AI to block everything, and I record the AI. So now I'm Cassie doing this. Right? You can flawless block it. Makes it oh, block stun. Work with me here. You can interrupt it that way. Or you can straight up just completely interrupt it. It's not real. So even though it's mid, sorry, low, mid, this is completely not real. Hey, I'm getting carried away, huh? Anyway, so you get the point. You do get the point, I hope. So you want to be careful committing to that. Now, if they do block it, however, it becomes a real whiff punish setup tool. Because if Jackie does commit to blocking this, I'm in perfect range for back 2. And there are a lot of tools which are going to perfect range you into back 2. Another one being forward 4. Forward 4-1. Nice combo opener. A lot of people get hit with this overhead, especially low intermediate level. People don't recognize this string fast enough. I like to use it on Oki as the opponent's getting up to try to hit them with just the overhead, because that will catch people at higher levels. But for the most part, lower intermediate people will get caught with this overhead. You can finish the string in forward 4-1-2. It'll keep you safe. It's a high, so it can be neutral duck. Ideally, I wouldn't bother going for it. The mind game isn't worth it because you're playing the same mind game that you're playing off of just staggering it. Which is if I stagger it and you press something, I'm just going to let it rip straight into combo extension. Or I'm going to stop. I can try doing that with this to stop them from pressing buttons on me. But you can also do that with this. And it's pretty much as effective. It's less safe, but the range that you're at, you can just do this if you want. And now you're +6 at distance. So you, again, can choose how you want to do that. Now, A big part of her notable buttons outside of her strings are going to be her down 4 and her down 4's ability to poke at opponents through range. Very similar to how you would use Xiao's down 4. It's just really good. It goes very far, and there's mind games around special canceling it or using it to set up situations that your opponent has to deal with. Its ability to just interrupt things that you wouldn't want to extend Cassie out for. You see how far her foot goes out where she's safe? That's really the main point of it. Her back 3 is arguably the best anti-air in the game. I honestly feel like it is. And I'll show you an example of why I think that is right before we get into all of our special moves, so you understand to the full extent what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to set, no, not block. I don't know what I'm doing. I want to set the AI to jump, and let's say I'm in a situation where I don't have a lot of health, right? And let's look at what this anti-air can do. That's very real. I have done this in matches. This is very real. So, arguably, I would say a 440% punish for jumping. You want to tell me that's not one of the best anti-airs in the game? Ideally, you're doing stuff like this. In the least. Every time they jump. You don't even have to confirm into all of that if you don't want. You want to keep it meterless? By all means, keep it meterless. You're going to tell me this. Look at the range from which I can anti-air. I'm nowhere near getting threatened by her. You can do different combos off of it if you want and flex. So it's amazing. It's one of the best buttons I would note that she has access to. Am I forgetting anything else? Okay, so let's talk about how you set opponents up to get hit with Cassie. And then we'll talk about her special moves after that. Then we'll go over the build specifically that I have. Good? Cool? Let's do it. All right. Forward 4 on stagger. If it hits, becomes a your opponent has to guess button. Now, you can, of course, if it hits, just confirm it into combo. But if it hits on its own as a stagger, this is a free strike throw 50-50 because your opponent cannot get away from you in time to not guess whether you're going to come up and do forward 4 again or you're going to throw. They can't react. They're stuck in hit stun. Look at your hit advantage. 14 frames. And the move comes out in 9. So you can dash up, do it again. And just to prove my point, I will set the AI to jump. What am I doing? I'll set the AI to jump again. I'm going to hit her. She's trying to jump. She gets caught. She can't jump out of it. In fact, if you're really good, and you're either going to jump, hold on. You can even confirm off of it. Outside of that, you could throw, and of course, if they guess that and jump, that's fine. You're checking the jump with forward 4s. But if they do hold block, they can get caught with a throw. And that leads into a big mind game, because now they got to guess back throw, forward throw. They could try to neutral duck. If they do neutral duck, they get hit for combo. And that becomes a whole thing they have to deal with. So very solid tool there. Outside of that, you're in perfect range to hit back 2, whether it hits or gets blocked. So if this hits, you can challenge again if they're not blocking to teach them that they should be. If they are blocking and they try to down 1 you, you will be out of range at that point. It's auto neutral. You don't have to step back. If you step back, you'll actually be out of range. You'll ruin it. So you hold your ground and back 2, and if they press anything, they get clipped. So that's great. You've got a similar strategy with using it to get into her back 3. If you want to use it as a grounded tool for mind games, you can try that. But ideally for this, I would just go for back 2. It's way stronger. You can use this string on block to set them up into back 2 as well. So again, this is fake, but if they do block it, which you can get them to do as long as you're not predictable and you mix it up, that's free spacing for back 2 as well. Forward 2, 1, you step in. You got back 2 spacing, forward 2 on its own. You can step back. So she's very much built to challenge your opponents trying to press buttons on you when they shouldn't. And in a similar way to Jackie, your goal is to make your opponent feel like they can never press anything. Not only can they never jump because the risk of this anti-air is always going to be there, and we saw how much damage you can get out of that if you're really prepared for it. They can't contest with you grounded because you're just setting them up for failure if they press something. Someone like Kodal, if you do this to Kodal and he tries to forward 2, you will beat him. You're faster and you're closer than he is. He has to really get his move out. You're gonna beat him with that. You don't want to step back against him because then you'll lose. But if you go straight into it, he'll get clipped if he's pressing buttons. So You really want to keep it in mind for that. As far as what these strings can do in the corner, we've got some situations here. Also, we've got this whole setup. We can talk about a jail situation that you have access to. If you land something like this, 3-4 jails off of this. So you do this into your amplified guns, and you can jail your moves off of that. You can actually get some pretty saucy combos. Let me see if I can actually hit this. So if this was to jail and they get caught, hold on, no. I'm gonna do it for you guys. I'm gonna do it. Hold on, excuse me. Yuzerski! Look at that. That's 370 damage that you get for a setup like that. Now, of course, this is a high, so they can neutral. They can't jump. They can only block or neutral duck. If they block, you're safe. You're fine. You're like -3. You don't care. And if it hits, you saw how much damage we just did. You can also... Hold on. Do something like that if you want. I have to remind myself what the combo was. Lickety split, because I almost forgot it. And this is going to do a beefy amount of damage too. That's just for them getting jailed. So if you get them in the corner without defensive meter and catch them with that button, very, very strong. But before we finish talking about that, let's go ahead and actually discuss the special moves we're making use of. So, toolkit number 1 that I have built for Cassie, my private account build, is going to have on it Kneecappin', Bitchin' Bubble, and the Flying Kick. Why the Flying Kick? Well, the Flying Kick is Cassie's armor break tool, so it has a crushing blow condition. If it counter hits, you will get 250 damage out of it. And if your opponent tries to break away from you, let me put it on, actually, here. If he tries to break away, come on. What's a string that I could... Do I have to put it on late? I'm trying to show you what happens. Okay, hold on. What could I hit her with to show this? I guess this, now that it's later, she's going to wait a second so I can do it. It armor breaks. There we go. Now, that's usually not the situation in which you're going to use it. Where you're going to use it is more in situations where you're confirming something like this and they want to break away and you have Fatal. Flying Kick is special cancelable, baby. They're not getting out of that. They're not getting out of that. And you would be surprised how many times your opponents will do that, okay? Also, when I say special cancelable, I mean only into Fatal Blow. You don't have another special move that's going to cancel into. But that does go into Fatal and they can't break away, and I've hit that more often than you think. If you get them to waste their defensive meter and you kill them with Fatal anyway, and it resets scaling, I mean, come on. What are they really going to do about it? Not much. So that's going to be most of the reason that I have Flying Kick on. Outside of that, on its own, it's a really strong tool just to get in on opponents. If you're playing somebody like Garrus, who is trying to be annoying with Sand Trap at distance, you can catch them trying to Sand Trap, and you take yourself off the floor. On its own, it's a decent ender. It's good for push away. Create some space, get back to your zoning. On block, it's safe at -8. This is going to be -8 at a decent distance away. It is a high, as you'll notice, so people can neutral duck under it. But for something like this to cover yourself, I think it's a good special to go for, and it's one of the reasons I like it. I find it a lot more comfortable than going for her back forward 4, which is going to be the next special move we're going to talk about. Back forward 4, really solid. It's safe if it's amplified, but it does become flawless blockable, so you have to be careful with that too, because your opponents can flawless block this move, and you are fully punishable if they flawless block it, so you want to watch out for that. Outside of that, it's a safer option for mind games if you're trying to test out whether or not your opponent is going to contest you. Something like this on block, you could go for that, see if they get challenged by it. If you stagger this and you want to cover yourself because you think they're going to make the read on the stagger, you can try to cover it with that. The mind game around keeping it safe becomes whether you're going to amplify it or not amplify it. Because while it's punishable on amplify, if they're waiting to flawless block you and you just don't do it, you then become safe. It becomes a 50-50 mind game in that essence. Very similar to Baraka's little Berserker charge he does with back 4-3. Similar mind game here. We've got her back forward 1, which is going to be her main zoning tool, and it's a very strong zoning tool. I like it a lot. Of course, they're all highs, but they contest. This is fully unbreakable on hit. We talked about the mind game of doing something like this or something like this. And again, in the corner, if we just walk Jackie over to the corner with us the slow way, because I don't want to reset the setting. If you hit anything into this, it again jails into 3-4, and that ends up making it very strong. And it's another good tool just to make sure people aren't pressing buttons on you. But you want to make sure with a string like back to 4, it whiffs. Now this is kind of character specific. This will hit on characters like Garrus and Raiden. But females, it's always going to miss. You want to keep that in mind. If you amplify it, it doesn't combo either. So you can try to use that as a mind game itself on females. But you want to keep in mind if you're in the corner, let's say, I'll just take us over. If you're in the corner and you're relying on this to jail, it won't. They can get out of that. So that's why you want to use something like your forward 4-1 or preferably your forward 3-4 to get into something like that. I hate when I drop that combo. Now I'm going to practice it for 80 hours. Anyway. One of the main reasons I like this tool. You can also charge it and it has a crushing blow condition at full charge. But that is going to be really rough to get. Most people aren't going to fall for this. Nobody wants to get hit with that. But you can use that as bait to cancel it, which you can do with down, down. So back forward 1, down, down makes it a mind game. If you're doing stuff like this and your opponent wants to neutral duck it, you can try to answer that way. I have even seen players on block. I think I saw Samij, if you guys are familiar with him, playing in a tournament the other day, do this and open his opponent up that way. So he baited that he was going to go for it, got his opponent to let go of block, and then was able to confirm off of that into kneecapping and got it into combo extension. It was amazing. So the cancel has its uses almost more than anything else. Another move that we have on is going to be our nut kick. And our nut kick is great because it eliminates your opponent's defensive options. It also has a crushing blow condition on its own. So I don't want to hear you complain about Cassie not having access to crushing blows. She has so many. Now this is very similar to someone like Sub-Zero hitting 3 amplified slides. You hit nut kick, amplified 3 times. On the third one, you'll get crushing blow for it. That's free damage and it causes bleeding, which is the really important part of it. It's a harder one to fish for, but ideally if you just end all of your combos in nut kick, you can even keep these grounded combos just straight into nut kick if you'd like. You just amplify it. That's still about 200 damage. Well, it's more about meter management, really, whether or not you want to continue cashing out on that. It's also good, as we said, for ending combos in restand to eliminate your opponent's defensive options. So if I was to hit Jackie with a pretty standard combo like this, there's no wake-up options I have to be concerned about. She can't do anything except for guess, strike, throw again. So she gets hit with this, and then we're back into this game. Amazing, amazing tool. I personally have Bitching Bubble on in this build. This is going to be a dot damage tool, and you see how much dot damage it does. This isn't the easiest thing to get out. My 2 favorite ways to use it is to either be annoying at zoning ranges, because if they want to walk forward, they have to accept taking dot damage as they do so. So I set up just a little barrier in between me and my opponent to continue to annoy them. Or I can try to lock them down in the corner with something like this. But you want to keep in mind, if Cassie gets hit, that bubble goes away. And so the threat of it, again, isn't real. You want to be careful with how you use it. It's very punishable. You see it comes out at 10 frames to start up. It's on hit. On hit. See this setup? I'm minus 19 here. So, if your opponent knows you're going for it, that's full combo punish. You want to be careful with that. That's not what I want. That's not what I want either. Am I forgetting about any special moves that I have? Because I usually am. Bitching Bubble, Glow Kick, we talked about. This we talked about. This we talked about. No, did I cover everything? Yeah, very solid. Very solid. So, this is one of the saucy combos. I'm going to make a Cassie combo video very soon. One of the combos that's going to be in it is this one here. If you're really good, you can land these. No one's saying that I'm that good. I mean land these consistently. you can get pretty solid damage from Cassie out of that. You can also confirm that combo into Fatal Blow if you would like to do so. If you cut it at 1-1, I believe I'll try it. If not, I'll have it in my combo video. Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm not lying to you. Yeah, you can. So she gets pretty saucy. I don't know about you guys, but that's a flashy looking combo to me. But if you want advice on the combos to use with her, wait until I get the combo video out and I'll show them to you. In the meantime, let's go ahead and look at the second variation that I built for Cassie that revolves completely around hit confirming. This one I call Call 911, and on it I've got her energy burst bubble and her ricochet off of the drone. Now what we're going to do with this one here is very simple. We talked about hit confirming before. Literally all you're doing in this variation is either noticing that a combo is hitting and going into her bubble extension, which is going to be her down back 4 for a combo extension. What would be an easier one to do it off of? Right, for combo extension, or noticing that it's getting blocked and going into bullet ricochet, which is going to keep her safe. A lot safer than you can with anything else. Now, the secret to this one is that bullet ricochet can just be neutral jumped and full punished on, but 90% of your opponents aren't going to realize that, and they're just going to sit there. Now, zoning, it's not as fun as kneecapping. This does replace your kneecapping in the same way that this replaces your dot damage with the other bubble that we were using in the past variation. But it's a mind game. Now, you can bait that the opponent is blocking, and if they go to do something like neutral jump, you can hit them with bubble. But bubble here, of course, because it's a combo extender, is also extremely punishable. So you have to hit confirm in this variation. It's so good if you're able to do it, but you have no other choice. It's all you can do. It's hitting. No, it's getting blocked. Ricochet. Getting blocked. Okay, it's hitting. Bubble. Combo, right? Getting blocked. Ricochet. Getting blocked. It's hitting. I have to get better at these also. Pardon me, you know, like it's getting blocked. Oh my god. It's hitting. Ricochet. Perfect, right? It's getting, so, oh my god, I can't talk either. If it's getting blocked, you do bullet ricochet. If it hits, you do bitch and bubble, and then you do combos, okay? That's literally the whole point of what you do with this, and nothing else. You contend at range, you open people up, you do your really annoying stuff, and if things are hitting, you go into combos. And if they're getting blocked, you go into bullet ricochet, and it's literally all you have to do. And you get very solid with it, you get really annoying with it. Now, if you have more questions about it, please feel free to ask me about it. That's what I'm here for. Let me know if there's information that I forgot to mention in the comment section down below. That's specifically what Tech Tuesdays are for, to catch you guys up on information. I'm just trying to get it out to you as much as I can. So if you play Cassie and you're like, hey man, I spent a half hour of my life watching this video and you didn't even bring up this thing, let me know. I'm not prideful about knowing everything. I want to learn the same way you do, and I want to get information out to other players because I like this game, and literally the whole reason I make content around fighting games is because I would like more people to get into fighting games so I can make more friends and have more people to play with. So the better you get, the better I get, the funner the games are, the more people get interested in the game, and the funner my life becomes. So be a part of that. If you have information, please let me know in the description down below. If you'd like to play me live, you can do so over on Twitch. I stream 4 days a week. I've got 3 days dedicated to Mortal Kombat. No, 2 days dedicated to Mortal Kombat. 3 days dedicated to fighting games. And I'm giving out money if you can win. So come in and play. I'd love to see you there. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Look forward to a Tech Tuesday video coming from me pretty soon, specifically on some tech I forgot to mention with Rambo in a past video that I learned about some matchup specific stuff. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Keep playing Mortal Kombat. I can't wait to play it with you. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.